year is 1380. The month is October. As the sun begins its slow, inevitable descent behind the jagged stone teeth of London's western walls, the sky undergoes a transformation. It is no longer the bright, industrious blue of the working day. Now it is a bruised purple, streaked with veins of deep crimson and the pale, ghostly gold of a dying fire. In this era, when the sun disappears, the world does not simply get dark, it dissolves. Imagine you are standing on the edge of the Thames. The water is thick, moving with a sluggish, heavy rhythm, reflecting the last of the light like a sheet of hammered copper. You hear it before you see the change, the great bell of St. Paul's Cathedral. Clang, clang. It is the sound of vespers. The iron tongue of the bell strikes the cool autumn air, sending vibrations through the timber frames of the houses, through the very soles of your feet. To the ears of a woman in the 14th century, this bell is a command. It says, "Put down the spindle, extinguish the hearth in the great hall. The day of labor is over. The night of the soul begins." Before we step deeper into the amber shadows of the tavern, take a brief moment to anchor yourself here. If you find peace in these ancient echoes, consider subscribing to our journey and pressing the like button. It is a small gesture, but it helps our hearth fire burn a little brighter for everyone seeking refuge in history. And now, let the city of London exhale, and let us wander into the fog together. Listen to the city as it exhales. The frantic shouting of the fishmongers at Billingsgate has subsided into a low, distant murmur. The heavy, iron-rimmed wheels of the merchant carts, which rattled the teeth of the houses all day, have found their resting places in the courtyards of the guild halls. The streets of London, narrow, winding, and lined with overhanging jetties of oak, begin to fill with a creeping, silver fog. It rises from the river, smelling of wet stone and ancient silt. Now, look at the shadows. From the modest doorways of the stone and timber houses, figures begin to emerge. These are the women of London. Some are the wives of skinners and drapers. Others are widows who have spent their day managing the chaotic accounts of a deceased husband's workshop. Others are young servants, their hands still stained red from the dyes of the woolworks. Notice their clothing. Feel the weight of it in your mind. They wear the kirtle, a long, tight-fitting tunic of heavy wool, dyed in the earthy colors of the English countryside, madder red, woad blue, or the deep, rustic green of forest moss. Over this, they wrap cloaks of thick russet, pinned at the throat with a simple brooch of lead or pewter. Their hair is hidden, tucked away beneath linen wimples, white fabric that has been starched and folded with precision, framing their faces like pale moons in the deepening twilight. The wind picks up, a sharp, northern breeze that carries the scent of the approaching winter. It whistles through the narrow gaps between the houses, rattling the wooden signs of the apothecaries. But as you follow these women, you notice they do not head toward the churches for the final prayers. They turn their backs on the grand cathedrals. They move toward the smaller, darker lanes, the veins of the city, where the pulse of real life beats strongest. They walk over the cobblestones. Scuff, scuff. The sound of their soft leather shoes hitting the uneven ground is a rhythmic, comforting percussion. Occasionally, the hem of a heavy wool skirt brushes against a pile of dry straw scattered near a stable door. Shh, shh. A soft, rustling sound that blends with the distant call of a night watchman. They are looking for a sign. In 1380, there are no glowing lanterns to guide the way. There is only the moon and the ale stake. Look up. Protruding from the side of a low-slung building is a long wooden pole. It hangs over the street like a fishing rod, and at its tip is a bush, a bundle of fresh ivy or green boughs tied with a simple cord. This is the ancient herald of the tavern. It is the sign that the alewife has finished her brew. The wort has cooled, the barm has risen, and the ale is finally bright. The women pause at the threshold of a heavy oak door. The wood is dark, polished by decades of touch, smelling faintly of linseed oil and old rain. Through the cracks in the timber, a golden, flickering light escapes. It is the light of beeswax and tallow, much warmer than any light you have ever known. It smells of melting fat and honey. And with the light comes the sound, not the loud, raucous shouting of a modern bar, but a deep, resonant hum. It is the sound of a dozen women's voices, low and melodic, vibrating in the small, timber-walled room. As one woman reaches out to push the door open, the heavy iron hinges groan, a slow, metallic protest that echoes in the quiet street. Inside, the air is thick and comforting. It is a blanket of smells, the sharp, sweet tang of fresh ale, the savory, herbal aroma of a pottage simmering in a cauldron, the clean, dry scent of fresh rushes spread across the floor, and above all, the smell of the fire. The hearth is a great open maw of stone in the center of the room. The logs, thick segments of oak and ash, crackle and pop, sending a spray of orange sparks dancing toward the rafters. The smoke rises in a lazy, serpentine coil, coating the ceiling in a rich, dark patina of soot. The women step inside. They shake the damp fog from their cloaks. They move with the familiarity of those who have found their true home. The world outside, the world of taxes, of the king's wars in France, of the strict sermons of the friars and the endless demands of the household, is barred behind that oak door. Here, in the golden dimness of the tavern night, time does not move in hours. It moves in heartbeats. It moves in the slow, rhythmic pouring of ale from a ceramic pitcher. Close your eyes now. Feel the warmth of the hearth against your skin, a dry, penetrating heat that sinks into your bones. Listen to the soft rustle of skirts as the women find their places on the wooden benches. The day is gone. The night has just begun. You are safe. You are warm. You are back in 1380, and the secrets of the tavern are about to be whispered in your ear. Close your eyes again. Feel the heavy oak door of the tavern as it closes behind you, shutting out the biting dampness of the London fog. The latch falls into place with a solid metallic thud, a sound that signifies the official end of your day. Now, before you take your seat, let us look back. Let us look at the day you have just shed like an old, heavy cloak. In the year 1380, a woman's life is measured by the rhythm of the hearth and the constant, hypnotic motion of the spindle. Think of the morning when the sky was still a cold, bruised gray. Your hands, perhaps stiff from the autumn chill, had to find the flint and steel to spark the first fire. You remember the smell of that first thin trail of smoke, acrid, sharp, yet hopeful. For hours, your world was defined by the 4 timber walls of your home. The repetitive shush-shush of the broom across the dirt floor, packed hard by generations of feet. The weight of the iron cauldron as you hauled it over the fire, filled with water and pottage, oats, leeks, and perhaps a small rind of salted bacon if the week had been kind. The day was a series of demands. The children needed tending, the wool needed carding, the vegetable patch needed weeding before the frost could claim the kale. But most of all, there was the spinning. Imagine the spindle in your hand. It is a simple tool, a slender piece of wood with a stone whorl at the base. All through the afternoon, as the pale sun moved across the sky, you sat by the small, horn-paned window. You drew the raw, oily sheep's wool from the distaff, twisting it between your thumb and forefinger, watching the fibers transform into a steady thread. Twist, drop, spin, twist, drop, spin. The sound was a constant, low vibration, a hum that settled into your bones. Your shoulders ached from the tension. Your fingertips grew calloused and stained. In the 14th century, a woman is never truly idle. Even when she speaks, her hands are usually moving, twisting the wool, creating the fabric that keeps her family warm against the English winter. But now, as you stand in the golden amber light of the tavern, that spindle is silent. It sits abandoned in a basket by your hearth at home. Feel the transition in your body. First, the shoulders. Notice how they begin to drop away from your ears. The tension that has been held there since sunrise, the worry about the cost of grain, the concern over a leaking roof, the exhaustion of the endless chores. It begins to dissolve in the radiating heat of the tavern's great stone hearth. Next, feel your hands. They are no longer twisting wool or scrubbing wooden trenchers. They are empty. Open your palms. Let them rest at your sides. The skin feels warm now, catching the glow of the flickering tallow candles. There is no work to be done here. No one is asking you for bread. No one is crying for attention. In this room, you are no longer just a mother, a wife, or a servant. You are a woman among women. Look around the room in the dim, flickering light. You see your neighbor, Cecily. By day, she is a laundress. You have seen her down by the river, her arms red and chapped from the cold water and the harsh lye soap, beating linen against the flat stones until her back groaned with fatigue. Now she is sitting on a low bench, her head leaning back against the lime-washed wall, her eyes closed. Her chapped hands are wrapped around a cool ceramic mug of ale. She is not a laundress tonight. She is simply Cecily, resting in the shadows. And there is Maud, the mercer's widow. All day, she has sat in her shop, haggling with difficult customers over the price of silk and velvet, her mind a whirlwind of pence and shillings, worried about the taxes the king's men will demand for the wars in France. Now, the heavy ledgers are closed. The silk is rolled away. She has untied the tight knot of her wimple, letting the linen loosen around her chin. She breathes deeply, the scent of fresh ale and wood smoke replacing the dust of the counting house. The tavern is the only place in 1380 where the hierarchy of the day softens. The floor beneath your feet is covered in a thick layer of fresh green rushes. As you move toward a bench, listen to the sound. Crackle, rustle. It is the sound of nature brought indoors. Mixed with the rushes are dried herbs, meadow sweet, lavender, and mint. With every step you take, your weight crushes the dried leaves, releasing a faint, sweet perfume that cuts through the heavy smell of the peat fire. Find your seat. It is a long, rough-hewn bench of English oak, polished to a dull shine by the skirts of 1,000 women who came before you. The wood is cool at first, then it warms beneath you. Lean your back against the timber frame of the wall. Feel the strength of the oak supporting you. These beams were part of a forest 100 years ago. They have stood through plagues and kings, and tonight they stand for you. The noise of the tavern is a soft, melodic canopy. It is not a roar, it is a hum. It is the sound of women's voices pitched low, sharing secrets that the daylight is not allowed to hear. There is a laugh, a deep, genuine sound that bubbles up from across the room. There is the rhythmic clink of a ceramic pitcher hitting the rim of a wooden goblet. In the corner, the tavern cat, a thick-furred tabby, stretches its paws toward the hearth, its purr a steady, low-frequency vibration that seems to sync with the beating of your own heart. The air is thick but not stifling. It is a cocoon. Take a deep breath. Inhale the scent of the evening. It is the smell of freedom. It is the smell of the few hours of the day that belong entirely to you. You are shedding the identity of the worker. You are shedding the identity of the provider. As you sit there, the alewife approaches. Her name is Marjorie, and she has a face like a dried apple, wrinkled, wise, and kind. She moves with a slow, heavy grace, carrying a tray of mugs. She doesn't need to ask what you want. She knows. She sets a ceramic mug down in front of you. It is heavy, made of dark, salt-glazed stoneware, cool to the touch. You reach out. Your fingers curl around the handle. This is the moment. The day is officially gone. The burden has been dropped. You are here, in the year 1380, in the sanctuary of the night, and the only thing required of you is to exist, to breathe, and to listen to the fire. The shadows on the wall dance in time with the flickering candles. The oak beams above your head seem to curve protectively over the room. You are safe. You are anonymous. You are at peace. Let the weight of the centuries pull you deeper into the bench. Let the low murmur of the voices become a lullaby. You have worked hard. You have survived the day. And now, the night is your reward. Now, let us step deeper into this sanctuary. Leave the damp, salt-tainted air of the Thames behind. Forget the biting wind that whistled through the timber jetties of the street outside. As you cross the threshold of Marjorie's Tavern, the world undergoes a profound shift in temperature, light, and soul. The door behind you is a massive slab of English oak, 4 inches thick, bound with iron straps that have rusted into a deep, earthy orange. As it closes, the iron latch drops, clack, and with that sound, the modern world, the busy world, the demanding world, simply ceases to exist. You are standing in the entry well. Beneath your feet, the floor is not stone, but a thick, fragrant carpet of fresh green rushes. Listen to the sound as you shift your weight. Crackle, crunch. It is the sound of the dry meadow brought into the heart of the city. The air here is different. It is heavy, sweet, and ancient. Inhale slowly. The first thing you notice is the smoke, but it is not the choking smoke of a chimney fire. It is a rich, aromatic haze of dried peat and seasoned applewood. It carries the scent of every meal cooked here for 100 years. A deep, savory foundation that feels like a physical weight against your skin. Then, there is the light. In 1380, there are no sharp edges to the world at night. There are no harsh glares. The room is illuminated by tallow dips, simple candles made from rendered beef fat, their wicks of twisted hemp sputtering softly in the drafts. The light they cast is a deep honey gold, a flickering amber that doesn't so much reveal the room as it dances with the shadows. Look up at the ceiling. The rafters are massive, hand-hewn beams of hard oak, darkened by decades of soot until they shine like polished obsidian. They curve slightly like the ribs of a great upturned ship, holding the weight of the night above you. Between the beams, the plaster is lime-washed, reflecting the firelight in soft, uneven patches. This is a room of curves and soft corners. There are no straight lines in a medieval tavern. Everything has been softened by time, by the touch of thousands of hands, and by the slow settling of the timber into the London clay. Now, move toward the center of the room. The great hearth is a stone circle in the middle of the floor, a tradition that predates the city walls themselves. There is no chimney here. The smoke rises freely toward a louvre in the roof, creating a lazy serpentine curtain of blue-gray mist that hangs midway in the air. Feel the heat of the fire. It is a dry, penetrating warmth. It doesn't just touch your skin. It sinks through your wool kirtle, through your linen shift, and settles into your very marrow. It is the warmth of survival. Look at the walls. They are lined with benches, long planks of timber that have been rubbed smooth by the skirts of generations of women. The wood is cool where the light doesn't reach, but near the fire, it is as warm as living skin. You find a corner, a small nook where the shadows are deepest. Beside you, the wall is made of wattle and daub, a mixture of clay, lime, and straw, woven between wooden slats. Reach out and touch it. The surface is uneven, bumpy, and cool. You can feel the bits of straw embedded in the dried mud, a reminder of the fields that lie just beyond the city gates. This room is a womb of oak and earth. Listen to the sounds again, but filter out the voices for a moment. Listen to the fire. Pop, hiss. A pocket of sap in a log of ash wood explodes with a tiny, brilliant spark. The steady, low-frequency roar of the flames is like the breathing of the house itself. Listen to the liquid. Behind the counter, Marjorie has tilted a large earthenware pitcher. Glug, glug, splash. The sound of fresh ale hitting the bottom of a ceramic mug is a dark, heavy music. It is the sound of amber gold filling the vessels of the night. In the shadows, the alewife herself is a silhouette. She moves with a slow, rhythmic grace, her shadow cast long and flickering against the lime-washed walls. She is the priestess of this space, the keeper of the brew, the one who transforms grain and water into the nectar that heals the day's wounds. Now, look at your hands as they rest on the table. The table is a heavy trestle, scarred with the marks of knives and the rings of 1,000 mugs. It is a map of the tavern's history. Marjorie approaches. She places a mug before you. The mug is stoneware, heavy, cool, and salt-glazed with a rough, sandy texture that grips your skin. You can feel the weight of it, the solid reality of it. The ale inside is green and fresh. It has no hops, so it is sweet, thick, and smells of roasted malt and meadow flowers. A thin, creamy foam sits on the surface, moving slightly as the firelight catches it. This is the sanctuary. Outside, the watchman is calling the hour, his voice muffled by the thick timber walls. The wind is rattling the iron signs of the fishmongers, and the River Thames is churning in the dark. But here, you are protected. The oak ribs of the ceiling protect you. The stone hearth warms you. The shadows hide you. In 1380, this tavern is the only place where the world slows down enough for you to hear your own heart beating. Close your eyes. Sink into the bench. Let the smell of peat and roasted grain wrap around you like a heavy wool blanket. You are not a name, or a role, or a servant. You are a part of the oak, a part of the fire, a part of the ancient night. The flickering gold of the candles is the only clock that matters now, and the candles are long, and the night is young, and you are finally, deeply, at home. As you sit deeper into your oak bench, let your eyes wander across the shadows of Marjorie's tavern. In the year 1380, a wall is never just a wall, It is a living record of survival. Look toward the heavy timber pillars that support the roof. These are cruck beams, massive, naturally curved oaks that still carry the shape of the trees they once were. Reach out and run your fingers over the wood. The surface is not smooth. It is deeply fissured, like the bark of an ancient creature. You can feel the marks of the broadaxe from a century ago, short, rhythmic diagonal scars left by a carpenter long since returned to the earth. The wood is cold in the deep crevices, but where the firelight touches the ridges, it feels like warm, polished bone. Now, look higher, where the light of the tallow candles struggles to reach. Hanging from the blackened rafters are bundles of dried herbs, the strewing herbs of the medieval night. There is meadowsweet, its creamy blossoms now brown and brittle, smelling of almond and honey. Beside it hangs wormwood, sharp and silvery and lavender, whose scent has deepened into a dusty, comforting perfume. Every time a draft of wind slips through the thatch of the roof, these bundles sway, creak, rustle, releasing a faint, herbal dust that settles slowly through the amber light. Look at the walls of wattle and daub. In the flickering glow, you see objects hanging from hand-forged iron nails. There is a leathern blackjack, a tall, stiff pitcher made of boiled leather, stitched with waxed linen thread. It is dark, almost black, and heavy with the history of 1,000 pours. Beside it hangs a row of pewter tankards, their surfaces dull and gray, hammered with the touch marks of the London Pewterers' Guild. They catch the light in a soft, diffused way, not a bright glint, but a ghostly silver shimmer that seems to vibrate with the low hum of the room. Now, look at the corner near the hearth. There is a large, ceramic costrel, a traveler's flask with small loops for a leather cord. It is glazed in a deep, mottled green, the color of a forest pool. It sits on a shelf of rough pine, a silent witness to the pilgrims who have passed through this door on their way to Canterbury. Notice the fire dogs in the hearth, heavy iron stands that hold the oak logs above the ash. They are shaped like the heads of hounds, their iron eyes glowing red from the heat of the coals. The hearth itself is a landscape of gray and orange. The ash is a fine silken powder, soft as flour, piling up in drifts around the glowing heart of the fire. Every few minutes, a log shifts, crackle, crunch, and a new pocket of golden light spills across the floor, illuminating the fresh green rushes for a fleeting second before the shadows reclaim them. Look at the floor near your feet. Mixed in with the rushes are small, white wood chips and the occasional lavender sprig. The smell of the crushed greenery rises up to meet you. A clean, sharp scent of the English summer, preserved here in the middle of the London autumn. As you lean back, your shoulder brushes against a heavy wool tapestry hanging on the wall to block the drafts. It is thick, coarse, and smells of lanolin and old wood smoke. The weave is uneven, a labor of months, depicting a hunt in a forest of indigo and ochre. The fabric is a barrier between you and the cold stone reality of the world outside. In this room, every object has a weight. Every shadow has a story. The ceramic pitcher on your table, the iron latch on the door, the linen wimple around your face. Everything is made of earth, wood, wool, or fire. There is nothing synthetic here, nothing plastic, nothing artificial. You are surrounded by the raw elements of 1380. The air is thick with the presence of the past. You can feel the breath of the oak beams. You can hear the heartbeat of the fire. The tavern is not just a building. It is a vessel. It is a ship of timber and stone, carrying you safely through the dark, turbulent ocean of the medieval night. Close your eyes. Let the visual map of the room fade into a soft, golden blur. You know where the herbs hang. You know where the fire glows. You know the texture of the oak. You are anchored here. You are grounded in the material world of the 14th century. The wind may howl outside the tavern door. The Thames may rise in the dark. But here, in the womb of the oak, surrounded by the scent of meadow sweet and peat smoke, you are untouchable. The night is deep. The shadows are kind. And you are exactly where you need to be. Now, let your gaze fall upon the vessel resting on the scarred oak table before you. It is a taiji, a tall, heavy mug of dark stoneware glazed in a deep chocolate brown that reflects the dancing orange tongues of the hearth fire. Reach out. Do not hurry. In the year 1380, there is no rush. Time is measured by the slow dripping of wax, not the ticking of a clock. Feel your fingers curl around the handle. The ceramic is cool, almost cold, with a pebbled, sandy texture that feels grounded and real. It is heavy, solid, and honest. As you lift it just an inch from the wood, listen to the sound. A low, hollow thud as the suction of the wet ring on the table breaks. The mug is filled to the very brim with ale, the lifeblood of the medieval night. Look at the surface of the liquid. In the flickering amber light of the tallow dips, the ale is the color of polished mahogany, dark and mysterious. A thin, creamy collar of barm, the natural yeast, clings to the inner rim, moving slightly with the rhythm of your breath. Bring the mug closer to your face. The first thing that hits you is the scent. It is not the sharp, bitter smell of modern beer. There are no hops here. Instead, it is a deep, malty perfume, sweet, earthy, and warm. It smells of sun-drenched barley fields in August, of roasted grain, and of the wild honey that Marjorie added to the vat. Underneath, there is a faint, floral ghost of meadowsweet and yarrow, the bittering herbs of the 14th century. Inhale. Let the steam from the fresh brew rise into your nostrils. It is the scent of a harvest moon. It is the scent of the earth's generosity. Now, let the rim of the stoneware touch your lower lip. The ceramic is smooth and cool, a sharp contrast to the radiating heat of the fire against your chest. Tilt the mug, slowly, as if you are pouring a liquid secret into your soul. The first sip is thick, almost velvety on the tongue. It is small ale, brewed to nourish as much as to relax. It is surprisingly sweet, with a smoky undertone from the malt dried over a peat fire. It feels heavy, not like water, but like a liquid bread, rich and sustaining. As the liquid passes your throat, feel the heat begin its journey. Wait. Do not take another sip yet. Just listen to the silence of the room as the ale hits your stomach. A wave of warmth begins to bloom at the very center of your being. It is a slow, radiating glow, like a second hearth fire being lit inside your chest. It travels outward, along your arms, down to your tired fingertips, and through your heavy, aching legs. Feel the tension in your jaw dissolve. Feel the bridge of your nose relax. The ale is working its ancient magic. In the Middle Ages, they call this God's good, a gift to the weary, a medicine for the soul. Look at the flickering shadows on the wall through the slight golden haze of your second sip. The edges of the world are beginning to soften. The sharp corners of the oak beams seem less rigid. The heavy, lime-washed walls feel as though they are breathing with you. Everything is becoming a blur of amber and shadow. The ale carries the essence of the summer sun, stored in the barley, transformed by the alewife's hands, and gifted to you now in the heart of a cold London night It is a circle of life, a cycle of nature, captured in a single ceramic mug. You take another sip, longer this time. The liquid is lukewarm, the perfect temperature for the body to accept without a flinch. You can taste the minerals of the Thames well water, the iron of the earth, and the sweetness of the malt. With every drop, the voice of the world outside grows quieter. The memory of the spinning wheel fades. The worry about the leaking thatch dissolves. The heavy weight of the king's taxes becomes a distant, unimportant dream. In 1380, this ale is your shield. It is a liquid wall between you and the demands of the day. It is the silent companion that tells you, rest now. You have done enough. The earth is still turning, and you are safe. Listen to the liquid inside the mug as you set it back down. Slosh. Ripple. Silence. The tavern cat purrs in the corner, a sound that vibrates through the floorboards and meets the warmth of the ale in your blood. You are perfectly synchronized with the room. The fire pops, crack, and a new spark dances in the dark, but your eyelids are too heavy to follow its path. They want to close. They want to rest in the amber dimness. Your hands rest loosely on the table now. Your fingers are warm. Your heart beats with a slow, steady mahogany rhythm. The alewife moves in the background, her wooden clogs hitting the rushes with a soft, muffled thump. She is the guardian of this peace. She has brewed this quiet for you. Take one final tiny sip. Let the sweetness linger on your palate. It is the taste of rest. It is the taste of the medieval night. The stoneware mug is your anchor. The fire is your sun. The ale is your peace. Close your eyes now. Let the warmth of the draft carry you away from the 14th century, away from the 21st century, into that timeless space where there is only the fire, the oak, and the deep, dark amber of the night. You are full. You are warm. You are sinking. The shadows are folding around you like a heavy silk curtain. Sleep is not far away. It is waiting in the bottom of the mug, in the heart of the barley, in the soul of the tavern. Breathe in the malt, breathe out the day. You are finally, truly still. As you let that first warm wave of ale settle in your marrow, let your mind drift. Let the flickering candle flame become a window into the past, not centuries ago, but just a few months, back to the high summer of 1380. Think of the barley. Before it was this dark mahogany liquid in your stoneware mug, it was a sea of pale gold, swaying under the fierce August sun in the fields beyond London's Ludgate. Imagine the sound of that field, shh, as the heavy heads of grain brushed against one another in the warm breeze. Each grain of barley was a tiny vessel, drinking in the white heat of the sun, capturing the energy of the earth, storing it for this very night. Now, see the hands of Marjorie, the alewife. They are hands that know the secrets of the earth. They are stained by the malt, calloused by the heavy wooden paddles, and smelling eternally of yeast and sweet wort. In your mind's eye, see her in the pre-dawn light of 3 days ago. The air was cold, the stars still sharp in the sky. She stood over the great copper vat, her shadow cast long and flickering against the stone walls of the brewhouse. Listen to the water. Splash. Ripple. It came from the deep, cool wells of the Vintry, pure and ancient. She heated it until the steam rose in thick, white curtains, cloaking her like a spirit of the hearth. Then came the grist, the crushed barley malt. Feel the texture of it in your mind, gritty, sweet, and dusty. As she stirred it into the steaming water, the room filled with a scent so thick you could almost taste it. The smell of a baker's oven, of caramelized sugar, of the very soul of the harvest. Swish, thud, swish. The heavy wooden paddle moved through the thick mash, a rhythmic, hypnotic labor. Marjorie whispered to the vat, ancient rhymes perhaps, or simple prayers for a bright brew. She added the gruet, her secret mixture of herbs. No hops in this 1380 ale. Instead, she scattered dried yarrow for bitterness, bog myrtle for spice, and a handful of dried heather blossoms to bring the ghost of the moorlands into the mug. Then, the most mysterious part of all, God's goodness. That is what they call the yeast. She added a frothy, living spoonful of the barm from a previous batch, and then she waited. In the silence of the brewhouse, the ale began to breathe. Bubble, hiss, pop. Tiny movements in the dark, the sugar turning to spirit, the sun's heat turning into the warmth that now glows in your chest. Marjorie watched over it like a mother over a cradle. She felt the temperature with her elbow. She tasted the sweetness on her thumb. She knew exactly when the life in the vat was ready to be stilled and poured into the casks. So, as you take another sip now, realize what you are truly drinking. You are drinking the August sun of 1380. You are drinking the clear well water of London. You are drinking the secret herbal wisdom of a woman who has brewed since she was a girl. You are drinking a liquid history of labor, patience, and magic. Feel the weight of the stoneware mug again. It is no longer just a cup. It is a gift from the summer, delivered to you in the heart of the autumn chill. The ale is smooth, passing over your tongue like liquid silk. It carries no harshness, only the mellow, rounded fruitiness of the grain. It coats your throat, a soothing balm that seems to wash away the dust of the day's spinning and the grit of the city's streets. Your mind is like the surface of the ale now, still, dark, and reflecting only the warm golden light of the fire. The alewife, Marjorie, is sitting on her own stool now, her back against a barrel. She watches the women in her tavern with a quiet, tired pride. She has nourished you. She has given you the strength to rest. In 1380, the alewife is the guardian of the night. Her brew is the anchor that keeps the city from drifting away into the cold dark. Take a deep breath. Let the scent of the malt and the peat smoke fill your lungs one last time. The hearth fire is a deep, glowing red now. The logs turn to crumbling castles of ash. The shadows are heavy and soft, like velvet blankets. Your body feels heavy, sinking into the oak bench, anchored by the sacred weight of the barley in your belly. You are full of the sun. You are full of the earth. Close your eyes. Let the image of the golden barley fields fade. Let the sound of the bubbling vat become the sound of your own steady, peaceful breathing. The alchemy is complete. You are no longer weary. You are simply still. Close your eyes and let the visual world of the tavern blur into a soft, golden haze. Now sharpen your hearing. Tune your ears to the frequency of the night in 1380. Listen to the voices. They are not shouting. In the flickering amber dimness, the women of London speak in a low, melodic shorthand, a language of whispers that flows like the Thames at midnight. It is a tapestry of Middle English, the vowels round and earthy, the consonants soft and breathy. Shh, shh. Across the scarred oak table, your friend Alice leans in. Her linen wimple is loosened now, and in the firelight, her eyes reflect the dancing orange flames. She tells you of a small miracle she saw at the market, a traveling spice merchant from the east who opened a silk pouch of cinnamon, letting the scent of a sun-drenched, distant land spill into the cold London air for one fleeting second. You listen. not just with your ears, but with your heart. The stories here are not about kings or wars. They are about the small, sacred details of survival. A recipe for a cough syrup made of honey and hyssop. The way the moon looked last night, hanging like a silver sickle over the Tower of London. The shared memory of a spring morning 10 years ago, before the great frosts, when the primroses covered the riverbanks in a carpet of pale yellow. Each word is a thread, and as the women talk, they are weaving a blanket of safety around the room. Listen to the rhythmic percussion of the conversation, the soft clink of a pewter spoon against a wooden bowl, the thud of a ceramic mug being set down on a bed of fresh rushes, the occasional deep sigh of a weary soul finally finding rest. There is a woman in the far corner, her face etched with the lines of 70 winters. She is whispering a riddle to a younger servant girl. The girl leans in, her breath held, waiting for the answer. When it comes, there is a tiny silver bell of a laugh, hushed, private, and sweet. In 1380, these whispers are the only news that matters. There are no papers. There are no books for the likes of us. There is only the living word, passed from lip to ear, kept warm by the ale and the peat smoke. Feel the vibration of the voices in the wood of the bench beneath you. The tavern is a vessel of shared secrets. Here, you talk of the burdens you shed at the door. You speak of the ache in your back from the loom, and as you speak, the ache seems to lessen, shared among friends. You speak of the fear of the coming winter, and as the others nod, the fear turns into a quiet, collective strength. Twist, turn, whisper. The language is as thick as the ale. You hear words like swefni, a dream, eal, all, sleptun, they slept. The ancient roots of your own tongue, sounding like the wind in the reeds of the marshlands. The conversation is a lullaby. It doesn't ask for your opinion. It doesn't demand an answer. It simply invites you to drift on the current of the sound. Look at the shadows of their lips moving on the lime-washed wall. The firelight stretches the shadows, making the women look like giants, ancient and powerful. Their silhouettes merge into one another, a single dark shape of sisterhood. Listen to the purr of the tavern cat again. It has moved now, curling itself around the hem of your wool kirtle. It adds its steady, low-frequency hum to the whispers of the room, a heartbeat of the house. The alewife, Marjorie, passes by, her wooden clogs making a soft shuff-shuff in the green rushes. She doesn't interrupt. She simply listens, a ghost of a smile on her wrinkled face. She has heard these same whispers for 40 years. Different voices, perhaps, but the same stories of love, labor, loss, and the longing for rest. You feel a deep, heavy connection to the women around you. You are part of a chain of voices that stretches back to the beginning of time. Take a long, slow breath. The air is warm, smelling of dried lavender and shared secrets. The whispers are becoming a blur now. The words are losing their edges, turning into a soft, hypnotic music. You no longer need to understand the meaning. You only need to feel the warmth of the sound. Peace, rest, eal, sleptun. The night is a heavy velvet curtain. The fire is a low red pulse. And the whispers of 1380 are the last thing you hear as you begin to drift away from the world of the living, toward the soft, silent kingdom of dreams. Your head leans back against the oak timber. Your eyes are closed. Your heart beats in time with the cat's purr and the low murmur of the night. You are listening to the soul of the Middle Ages, and it is telling you, sleep. Close your eyes and let the whispers of the tavern guests soften into a distant, golden blur. Now, a new sound emerges from the deep shadows near the hearth. It is the pluck of a string. Ting, ting, hum. In the corner, sitting on a low stool of polished ash, is a young woman with a lute. Its body is shaped like a halved pear, made of slats of light maple and dark walnut, gleaming in the orange firelight. Her fingers, slender and pale against the dark wood, move with the practiced grace of a weaver. Listen to the instrument. It is not loud. In 1380, music is an intimate secret, meant to be felt in the chest before it is heard in the ear. The strings are made of gut, producing a sound that is warm, earthy, and strangely human. It doesn't pierce the air. It blends with the crackle of the oak logs and the rhythmic purr of the tavern cat. Pluck, resonate, fade. She begins a carol, a slow, circular melody that has been sung in English villages for generations. The tune goes round and round, like the motion of the spindle, like the turning of the stars. It has no sharp edges. It is a series of soft, descending notes that pull at the weight in your eyelids. Drip, drop, gold. Now another woman joins in, her voice a low, honeyed alto. She doesn't sing words you need to understand. She sings vocables, soft, meaningless sounds, like lulle, lulle, lullo. Feel the vibration of the music in the bench beneath you. The oak timber of the tavern acts like a giant sounding board. The music travels through the wood, through your wool kirtle, and into your very skin. It is a physical embrace. It tells your heart to beat slower. It tells your lungs to expand with the scent of the dried lavender and the sweet malt. The shadows on the lime-washed walls seem to sway in time with the lute. The flickering candle flames dance to a rhythm that only the night understands. Hum, swell, hush. Listen to the drones, the deep, constant notes that anchor the melody. They are like the earth itself, steady, unchanging, and safe. Above them, the higher notes flicker like sparks from the hearth, dancing for a moment in the rafters before dissolving into the soot-blackened oak. In 1380, music is the bridge between the heavy labor of the day and the light dreams of the night. The lute player slows her tempo. The space between the notes grows longer and longer. Each silence is a soft pillow. Each vibration is a gentle hand stroking your brow. You are no longer thinking. You are simply a vessel for the sound. The melody is weaving a cocoon around your bench. It shuts out the cold wind rattling the shutters. It shuts out the dark flow of the river outside. There is only this circle of golden light, the warmth of the ale in your belly, and the slow, hypnotic lulle of the lute. Strum, shimmer, still. The music is pulling you down, deeper into the oak, deeper into the straw and the rushes. Your head finds a resting place against the timber pillar. The wood is cool against your temple, but the music inside the wood is warm. The singer's voice drops to a whisper. The lute player barely touches the strings now, letting the final note ring out. A long silver thread of sound that stretches across the room, thinner and thinner, until it is gone. But the silence that follows is not empty. It is a full, vibrating silence, pregnant with peace. The tavern is held in a spell of melody. No one speaks. No one moves. The only sound is the rhythmic hiss of the fire and the steady, peaceful breathing of 20 women in the dark. You are sinking. The music has untied every knot in your soul. Lulle, lulle, sleep. Close your eyes and let the final silver vibration of the lute fade into the amber shadows. Now, focus on the weight of your own body as it rests against the oak bench. Feel the layers of 1,380 wrapped around you. In this flickering tavern light, fashion is not about the eyes, it is about the touch. Start with the outermost layer, your cloak. It is made of russet, a thick, honest wool from the sheep of the Cotswold Hills. It is heavy, dense, and smells faintly of the summer rain and the natural oils of the fleece. As you pull it closer around your shoulders, feel the coarse, comforting scratch of the fibers. It is a protective shell, a barrier that has kept the damp London fog at bay all evening. Underneath the cloak is your kirtle. It is a long, narrow-sleeved tunic of fine spun wool, dyed a deep, earthy, madder red. Feel how it fits snugly against your torso, held tight by a row of small, hand-cast pewter buttons that run from your wrist to your elbow. The fabric is warm, having absorbed the radiating heat of the great stone hearth. It moves with you, a second skin of natural fiber that breathes and sighs as you breathe. Now, notice the linen against your skin. Beneath the wool is your smock, a sheer white undergarment of bleached flax. It is the softest thing you own. Where the wool is sturdy and rough, the linen is cool, smooth, and clean. It feels like a gentle caress against your tired limbs. In 1380, linen is the soul of comfort. It wicks away the moisture of your labor and provides a silken nest for your spirit to rest in. Focus on your head, the wimple. The linen cloth is wrapped carefully around your chin and pinned to a small cap beneath. Earlier in the day, it felt restrictive, a symbol of your modesty and your place in the world. But here, in the dim gold of the tavern, you have loosened the pins. The fabric hangs soft and draped, framing your face like a pale cloud. Feel the slight weight of the linen as it brushes against your cheeks. It muffles the sounds of the room, creating a private, quiet space just for you. Look down at your waist. A girdle of braided silk and leather hangs loosely over your hips. Attached to it is your aumônière, a small fabric pouch. Reach down and touch it. You can feel the cold, hard shape of a single silver penny inside, and the soft, dried lavender sprig you tucked there this morning. The leather is supple, polished by the constant touch of your fingers. And finally, your shoes. They are turn shoes, made of a single piece of goat leather, stitched inside out and then flipped. They have no hard soles. Through the thin leather, you can feel the texture of the green rushes on the floor, the stalks of the meadow sweet, and the softness of the straw. Your feet are warm, protected, yet connected to the earth. Everything you wear is a gift from the land. The sheep gave their wool. The flax fields gave their fiber. The forest gave the dyes. You are a tapestry of the English countryside. As the firelight flickers, the colors of the room, the madder reds, the woad blues, the natural ochres of the russet, all blend into a single, warm brown. The textures become a lullaby. The scratch of the wool, the smoothness of the linen, the suppleness of the leather. You feel heavy. You feel cocooned. The clothing of 1380 is designed to embrace the body, to hold the heat in, to create a portable sanctuary. As you lean your head back against the timber pillar, the linen of your wimple cushions you. The heavy wool of your cloak blankets you. The day's identity, the weaver, the mother, the servant, is woven into these clothes. But tonight, the clothes are simply a warm embrace. Breathe in the scent of the wool and the dried lavender. Breathe out the tension in your limbs. Your raiment is your rest. You are wrapped in the textures of the past, and they are pulling you down, softly, into the deep, dark velvet of sleep. wool, linen, hearth fire, rest. As you settle deeper into the oak, let the weight of your russet cloak become a bridge to the earth. In 1380, your clothes are not merely things. They are the living memory of the English soil. Close your eyes. Feel the madder red of your kirtle against your wrists. To create this deep, warm crimson, the alewife sister spent months tending to the madder plants in a small, walled garden near the city ditch. Imagine the roots of the plant, thick, tangled and reaching deep into the dark, damp clay of London. They drank the spring rains and the summer heat, concentrating the fire of the sun into their fibrous hearts. When the roots were dug up, dried, and crushed, they smelled of damp earth and ancient minerals. As the wool was simmered in the dye vat, the scent of the madder root rose in a thick, sweet steam, a smell like a plowed field after a thunderstorm. That earthy soul is still trapped in the fibers of your sleeve. As the firelight of the tavern warms the wool, the scent of the madder root breathes again, a faint, grounding perfume that tells your spirit, you are a child of the clay. You are anchored. You are home. Now, feel the woad blue of your neighbor's apron. This color was born from the leaves of the woad plant, harvested in the height of July. The leaves were crushed into a pulp, rolled into balls, and dried until they smelled like new-mown hay and sharp fermented fruit. When the wool is pulled from the woad vat, it is green, but as it touches the air, it turns to a deep, celestial blue, the color of the sky just before the stars appear. It is a cooling color, a quiet color. In the dim light of Marjorie's tavern, these colors, the madder red, the woad blue, the weld yellow, all lose their sharpness. They blend together into a soft, monochromatic amber. Touch the hemp cord that ties your pouch. It is rougher than the wool, a series of tiny, fibrous knots that feel like the bark of a willow tree. It is strong, unyielding, and honest. It carries the faint green scent of the riverbanks where it grew, a sharp vegetal note that cuts through the heavy smell of the tallow candles. And notice the beeswax on the thread of your seams. Every stitch of your kirtle was pulled through a block of pure, golden beeswax to make it strong. As you sit near the hearth, the heat softens the wax within the seams. A tiny, ghostly scent of honey and summer meadows begins to radiate from your very clothes. It is a secret garden, hidden in the folds of your raiment. The wool protects you from the wind, but the linen smock underneath, it protects your soul. Think of the flax fields in Flanders, blue flowers swaying under a soft rain. The stems were soaked in water, beaten and combed until only the long silver-white fibers remained. They were spun into a thread so fine, it felt like a spider's web. Feel that linen now, where it touches the hollow of your throat. It is cool, almost like water. It has been washed with lye, made from wood ash and scented with dried woodruff. It carries the smell of a clean, empty room, the smell of clarity and peace. You are wrapped in a symphony of natural elements, the oak of the bench, the straw of the floor, the wool of the sheep, the flax of the field, the roots of the garden. There is nothing in this room that did not once have a heartbeat or a root. You are not sitting in a building. You are sitting inside the embrace of the natural world, distilled into timber and textile. Feel your body becoming heavy. The layers of wool and linen are like soft, warm earth being piled gently over your limbs. They are holding you still. They are telling your muscles that there is no need for movement. The weight of the 14th century is a kind weight. It is the weight of reality. It is the weight of things that are made by hand and grown by the sun. Your breathing is slow now, synchronized with the rhythmic pop of the oak logs. The colors of your clothes are fading into the darkness of the tavern's corners. The textures are becoming a blur of softness. Madder, woad, linen, wool. The earth has provided everything you need to be warm. The sun has provided everything you need to be safe. And the night has provided everything you need to sleep. Close your eyes. Let the sense of the roots and the honeyed wax carry you away. You are a part of the weave. You are a part of the night. Sink down. Sink deep. As the warmth of the ale begins to blur the sharp edges of the room, another sensation arrives to anchor you further into the oak bench. It is the scent of the common pot, the heavy iron cauldron that has been simmering over the white-hot coals of the hearth since midday. In the year 1380, food is not a distraction. It is a restorative. It is the fuel of survival, slow-cooked and honest. Listen to the sound from the hearth. Bubble, bloop, hiss. The thick pottage is moving in the pot, a rhythmic volcanic music of the night. Marjorie, the alewife, approaches your table. She is carrying a trencher, a thick, flat slice of day-old barley bread that serves as your plate, and a small mazer, a bowl carved from the knotty wood of a maple tree. Feel the weight of the wooden bowl as she sets it down. It is warm to the touch, having absorbed the heat of the stew. Reach out and cradle it in both hands. The wood is smooth, polished by decades of fat and salt, smelling of the forest and the fire. The pottage inside is a deep, rustic brown. Inhale the steam. It carries the savory heart of the English garden. You can smell the sweetness of slow-cooked leeks, the earthy depth of yellow onions, and the herbal brightness of parsley and thyme. Hidden in the depths is the salt tang of bacon rind, rendered down until it has become part of the broth itself. It is a scent that reaches deep into your stomach, a comforting promise that the hunger of the long day is finally over. Now, take a piece of the barley bread. It is dark, dense, and heavy. In 1380, bread is the staff of life, made from the same grain as your ale. Break off a crust. Listen to the crunch of the hard exterior, followed by the soft, yeasty sigh of the center. Dip the bread into the pottage. Watch as the dark liquid soaks into the porous grain, turning the pale bread into a savory sponge. Lift it to your lips. The first taste is salt and earth. The broth is thick, coating your tongue with the richness of the vegetables and the marrow. It is warm, but not burning. A steady, glowing heat that matches the fire in the hearth. As you chew the barley bread, you taste the roasted nuttiness of the grain, the slight sourness of the natural leaven, and the lingering sweetness of the onions. Everything in this bowl was grown within a few miles of where you sit. The leeks from the garden behind the tavern, the barley from the fields at Ludgate, the salt from the marshes of the coast. You are eating the landscape. You are consuming the very essence of the 14th century. Now taste the hard cheese. Marjorie has left a small wedge on the edge of your trencher. It is ewe's milk cheese, aged until it is crumbly and sharp. It smells of mown grass and wild clover. As it melts against the roof of your mouth, it releases a creamy, tangy richness that cuts through the savory pottage. With every bite, your body feels heavier. The tension in your stomach, the literal and metaphorical hunger, is being replaced by a deep, solid sense of fullness. In the Middle Ages, to be full is to be safe. It is the ultimate luxury of the night. Look at the trencher bread beneath your bowl. It has soaked up all the juices of the stew, becoming soft and heavy. In 1380, nothing is wasted. You eat the plate itself, the final, most flavorful part of the meal. As you swallow the last morsel, feel the lethargy beginning to take hold of your limbs. Your heart is beating with a slow, contented thud. The warmth of the food has joined the warmth of the ale and the warmth of the fire. You are a closed circle of heat and peace. Listen to the rhythmic sound of the other women eating, the soft scrape of a wooden spoon, the quiet munching of crusty bread, the satisfied exhale after a long sip of broth. The tavern is a room of fulfilled needs. The iron cauldron is being moved back to the edge of the fire, its work done for the night. The smoke from the hearth seems even softer now, a blue-gray velvet that drapes over the rafters. You rest your hands on the table. They are warm. Your stomach is warm. Your soul is quiet. The flavors of the night, the salt, the onion, the roasted grain, linger on your palate like a savory lullaby. You have been fed. You have been nourished. The world of 1380 is a hard world, but tonight it has been kind. Close your eyes. Let the satisfied weight of the feast pull your spirit down into the cool, dark earth beneath the tavern. You are grounded. You are full. You are ready to drift away. Bread, pottage, salt, still. As the steam from your wooden bowl rises in lazy, silver ribbons, notice a subtle shift in the aroma. Marjorie, the alewife, has leaned over the cauldron and added a final, secret touch. In the year 1380, spices are the gold of the kitchen. Imagine her opening a small, iron-bound chest of dark cedar. Inside, tucked away in silk pouches, are the treasures of the Silk Road. She takes a single peppercorn, black, wrinkled, and hard as a tiny stone. It has traveled thousands of miles, from the monsoon-drenched forests of India across the burning deserts of the East, to reach this very hearth in London. She crushes it with a smooth river stone. Crunch, grind. The scent released is sharp, woody, and electric. As she scatters the dust into the bubbling pottage, the spice meets the sweetness of the slow-cooked onions. Take another spoonful now. Wait for it. The heat of the pepper doesn't hit you immediately. It begins as a tiny flickering spark at the back of your throat. Then it spreads, a slow, creeping warmth that moves across your tongue, waking up every sense. It is a dry, clean heat that cuts through the richness of the bacon fat and the thickness of the barley. It feels like the fire of the hearth has been distilled into a single drop of liquid. Now, inhale again. There is something deeper. Grains of paradise. This is the spice of the Middle Ages, bitter, peppery, and smelling of ginger and cardamom. It carries a ghostly floral note that lingers in the back of your mind long after the swallow. And then, the cloves. Only one or two, but their presence is immense. They taste of the earth and the sun, a deep, numbing warmth that settles into your gums and your jaw, relaxing the muscles that have been tight with the day's worries. As you chew the crust of your barley bread, flavored now by these exotic dusts, your body feels as though it is being tempered like a piece of fine steel. The cold fog of the Thames cannot touch you now. The dampness of the city streets has no power over a body fueled by the fire of the East and the heart of the English harvest. Look at the bottom of your wooden mazer bowl. The dregs of the pottage are dark and thick, concentrated with the herbs of the garden and the spices of the world. Scraping the wood with your spoon produces a soft, rhythmic scritch-scritch, a domestic music that tells your soul. The hunger is gone. The warmth is here. The night is safe. Now Marjorie brings a small spice plate, a ceramic shard holding a tiny mound of coarse sea salt. Take a single grain. It is gray, crunchy, and tastes of the cold Atlantic. Place it on your tongue and let it dissolve. The sharp mineral tang brings out the last of the sweetness in the barley bread, a perfect final note to the feast. Your stomach is heavy now, a solid anchor of heat. The spices have speeded your blood just enough to make your skin glow, but the weight of the grain is pulling you down. You are in a state of contentment, a word that in 1380 means more than just happiness. It means to be held together. You are held together by the wool of your clothes. You are held together by the oak of the tavern. You are held together by the savory strength of the pottage. The iron ladle is hung back on its hook. The lid is placed over the cauldron. Clink, and the feast is officially ended. The flavors on your palate begin to fade into a single mellow memory of salt, onion, and pepper. Close your eyes. Let the lingering heat of the spices become a golden light in your mind. It is a protective glow, keeping the darkness at bay. You are full. You are tempered. You are sinking. The night is a long, slow exhale. Pepper, clove, barley, peace. Close your eyes and let the savory heat of the pottage and the lingering warmth of the cloves settle into a deep, heavy stillness. The tavern is a cocoon of amber and shadow. But outside, the world of 1380 is governed by a different rhythm, a rhythm of iron and law. Listen. Far off, through the thick oak timbers and the river fog, a sound begins to climb the narrow lanes. Clang, clang, clang. It is the curfew bell. 8 times it strikes, its voice cold and unyielding, echoing from the belfry of the nearby parish church. In the Middle Ages, this is the cover fire bell, the couvre-feu. It is the official command of the king and the church. It tells the city, extinguish your hearths, bar your doors. The streets belong to the night watch and the shadows. The day is dead. In the streets, you can imagine the hurried footsteps of the last merchants, the heavy sliding of iron bolts, the world folding itself into a forced, silent obedience. But here, inside Marjorie's tavern, something extraordinary happens. As the final resonance of the 8th bell fades into the damp air, a profound silence falls over the room. No one moves. No one reaches for their cloak. Look at the faces of the women around the trestle table. In the flickering yellow light of the tallow dips, you see a collective, secret smile. A glance is exchanged between Alice and Cecily. A soft, knowing nod from the alewife behind the counter. They do not leave. This is the small rebellion of the night. Behind this barred oak door, the king's law carries no weight. The church's warnings about the evils of the dark are muffled by the thick thatch of the roof. Listen to the sound of the tavern after the bell. It is a deeper, more intentional quiet. The voices drop even lower, becoming a soft, rhythmic hiss, like the falling of dry sand. The watchman's heavy tread passes by outside in the muddy street. Thump, thump, thump. His lantern casting a fleeting, ghost-like sliver of light through the crack in the shutters. Inside, you hold your breath for a heartbeat. The footsteps fade. The law has passed you by. A wave of secret freedom washes over the room. It is a light, ethereal sensation, making the air feel thinner and sweeter. In 1380, a woman's life is a series of musts and shoulds, but in this hour, after the curfew, you belong to no one but the shadows and each other. Marjorie moves to the hearth. She doesn't extinguish the fire as the law demands. Instead, she adds a fresh log of seasoned willow, the wood of dreams. Crackle, hiss, pop. The new flame is a brilliant, defiant blue-white before it settles into a steady, golden glow. The smoke rises, weaving through the rafters, carrying the scent of the suppressed night. Feel the liberation in your limbs. Your hands, which spent the day obeying the demands of the loom and the cradle, now rest loosely on the wood, unclaimed by any master. Your mind, which has been a ledger of chores and worries, now becomes a blank piece of vellum, ready for the night to write its own story. This is the womb of the night. The curfew has shut the world out, but it has locked you in a sanctuary where the only rule is the slow, rhythmic pouring of the ale and the steady, peaceful vibration of the cat's purr. You are a rebel in wool and linen. The silence outside is a cold, stone silence, but the silence inside is a warm, living thing. It is the sound of 20 hearts beating in a secret, synchronized peace. Take a deep, slow breath. Inhale the scent of the unlawful fire. You are safe in your defiance. You are warm in your rebellion. The night is no longer a time of danger or restriction. It is a vast, open territory, and you are its queen. Clang, clang. The iron bell is now just a memory, a cold ghost in the fog. But the gold of the tavern is real. The oak is real. The freedom is real. Close your eyes now. Let the knowledge of your secret sanctuary pull you down, deeper into the rushes, deeper into the dark velvet of the 14th century. The world has gone to sleep by command. But you are drifting into sleep by choice. Bell, fire, shadow, free. Chao chi emtip duktrin kai fan moi. Tin chi emvasu sichia. The sisterhood of the hearth, a shared soul. Trong fan nai. Chung ta satap trong vao suket noi vohin hung ben chat gyuan hung ngoi punnu. Kong yan quantro kong kon lamot noi kindoan. Matro tan mat took the song. Noi moi rau kan vegiai kap hai toi tak jo tan bien doi hoyam kwa jong lua. Em se sudung kat chi tiet ve. Tieng to jong hip. Va. Suting lang thao hiu. Jejua. Ngoi nanghe, va trang thai, tu gyan tuyet joy. Part 10. The Sisterhood of the Hearth. A shared soul. Style instructions. Read with a voice that is incredibly tender and slow, like a mother whispering to a sleeping child. Emphasize the long pauses, 7 to 9 seconds, between descriptions of shared glances and quiet gestures. The tone should feel like a warm, heavy blanket being laid over the listener. Full script, AI voice ready, English language. Now that the curfew bell has become a distant ghost in the fog, let your heart find its rest in the collective breathing of the room. In the year 1380, a woman's strength is not found in iron, but in the circle of the hearth. Look around the trestle table. In this golden, flickering dimness, the labels of the day have been shed like worn-out shoes. There is no mistress and no servant here. There is no rich merchant's widow and no poor washerwoman. There are only souls wrapped in wool and linen, seeking the same warmth, the same peace. Feel the weight of belonging. Next to you, Cecily shifts her weight on the oak bench. Her shoulder, covered in the coarse, honest russet of her cloak, brushes against yours for a fleeting second. Brush, rustle. It is a touch of pure, unspoken recognition. It says, I know your labor. I know the ache in your hands. I know the weight of your thoughts, and you are not alone. The air in the tavern is thick, not just with peat smoke and ale, but with a quiet understanding. Across the fire, a young girl, barely 16, rests her head on the lap of an elder woman. The older woman, her skin like a map of 70 London winters, does not speak. She simply rests her hand on the girl's hair, her fingers moving in a slow, rhythmic stroke. Stroke. Pause. Stroke. It is the same rhythm as the loom. It is the same rhythm as the tide of the Thames. Listen to the symphony of shared breath. As the room grows quieter, the individual breaths of 20 women begin to synchronize. Inhale. Exhale. A collective sigh ripples through the tavern, a soft, oceanic sound that tells the night, we are safe. We are one. In 1380, the world outside is vast, dark, and often unkind. But inside this circle of oak and fire, there is a wall of sisterhood. Marjorie, the alewife, brings a single large wooden bowl of warm water scented with rosemary and bay. She places it in the center of the table. One by one, the women dip their fingers into the water, a silent ritual of cleansing. Feel the imaginary warmth of the water on your own fingertips. It is soft, herbal, and healing. It washes away the grit of the city and the salt of the day's tears. Look at the eyes of the woman sitting opposite you. She doesn't ask you about your day. She doesn't ask you for a favor. She simply offers you a steady gaze, a look that acknowledges your existence without demanding anything in return. In the flickering amber light, her face is softened, her wrinkles becoming beautiful paths of history. This is the sanctuary of the unspoken. You don't need to explain your exhaustion. You don't need to justify your presence. You are accepted by the wood, by the fire, and by the sisters who sit beside you. The cat in the corner has fallen into a deep, vibrating sleep, its purr a low-frequency lullaby that anchors the entire room. Feel your own heart slowing down, finding the same tempo as the others. Your pulse is no longer a frantic drum. It is a slow, heavy swell of the sea. The sisterhood of 1380 is a silent language. It is the way a mug is passed without a word. It is the way a cloak is tucked around a sleeping neighbor. It is the way the shadows on the wall seem to hold hands as they dance in the rafters. You are being held, not by arms, but by the atmosphere of the room. You are sinking into a deep, dark pool of collective peace. Every worry you brought through the door has been dissolved in the heat of this communal soul. The fire is a deep, glowing ruby now. The shadows are long and kind. Close your eyes. Let the feeling of being one among many pull you down into the straw. You are a thread in a great, warm tapestry. You are a drop in a vast, golden ocean of ale. The night is long, but it is shared. The darkness is deep, but it is warm. Sister, hearth, breath, sleep. As the fire in the center of the tavern settles into a deep, pulsating ruby, let your mind focus on the small, sacred movements of the women around you. In the year 1380, care is not a grand speech. It is a series of tiny, amber-lit graces. Look to your left, where Alice sits. She sees that your wimple, your linen head covering, has slipped during your long walk through the London fog. She does not ask permission. She simply reaches out, her fingers warm from the ceramic mug. Feel the imaginary touch. Her hand is steady, smelling faintly of the rosemary water. She tucks the stray corner of white linen back into place, smoothing the fabric against your temple with a slow, lingering pressure. Brush, tuck, smooth. It is the touch of a sister, a mother, a friend. It is a gesture that says, I see you. I will keep your dignity intact while the world sleeps. Across the table, Cecily breaks a small piece of barley bread from her own trencher. She does not eat it herself. She holds it out to the young servant girl sitting beside her, whose eyes are heavy with the exhaustion of the dye vats. There is no word spoken, only the soft crackle of the bread being torn and the sight of the young girl's hand reaching out to take it. Their fingers brush for a second, a spark of human warmth in the dark. Watch the shadows on the lime-washed wall. They are no longer separate shapes. In the flickering light of the low tallow candles, the silhouettes of the women merge into a single, undulating wave of darkness. They lean toward each other, their bodies forming a protective wall against the cold drafts that slip beneath the heavy oak door. Listen to the rustle of kindness. Maud, the mercer's widow, sees that a younger woman has fallen into a light sleep, her head bobbing toward the hard wood of the trestle table. Maud reaches for her own extra cloak of heavy russet wool. She unfolds it slowly. Whoosh, rustle, and drapes it over the girl's shoulders. The fabric is thick and smells of lavender and wood smoke. As it settles over the girl, she sighs, a long, shimmering exhale of pure safety. Maud pats the girl's arm once, twice, a slow, rhythmic beat that matches the ticking of the embers in the hearth. This is the geometry of peace. A hand on a shoulder, a head resting against a timber pillar, a shared glance that carries the weight of 1,000 unspoken stories. In 1380, you do not need to be strong alone. The tavern has become a single, breathing organism. You can feel the pulse of the room in the soles of your feet, a low-frequency vibration that comes from the collective heartbeat of 20 women. Reach out your own hand. Let it rest, palm down, on the oak table. Beside you, Alice places her hand near yours. She does not grab it. She simply lets her warmth radiate across the inch of space between you. You can feel the heat of her life, a soft, invisible golden thread connecting your spirit to hers. The sisterhood is a medicine. It heals the bruises left by the day's harsh words. It mends the tears in the soul caused by the city's indifference. Here, in the heart of the 14th century, you are being rewoven. The alewife, Marjorie, brings a small iron pot of honeyed wax. She moves around the table, offering a tiny drop to each woman to rub into their chapped, hard-working hands. Feel the wax on your palms. It is thick, warm, and smells of the high summer meadows. As you rub it into your skin, circular, slow, deep, the scent of the bees and the sun fills your lungs. You are being pampered by the night. You are being cherished by the shadows. The whispers have stopped now. There is only the sound of being. It is the most relaxing sound in the world. It is the sound of a community that has decided to be still. Close your eyes. Sink into the collective embrace. You are not a solitary spark in the dark. You are part of a great glowing hearth. The oak beams above are the ribs. The stone hearth is the heart. And the women around you are the breath of the house. You are safe. You are seen. You are loved in the way that only the night and the tavern can love. The fire is dying down, but the warmth of the sisterhood is just beginning to reach its peak. Hand, linen, wool. 1. Now that the fire has deepened into a steady red pulse, let your mind drift upward, beyond the amber light of the tallow dips, into the high, soot-blackened rafters of Marjorie's tavern. In the year 1380, the night is never truly empty. It is filled with the invisible neighbors. Listen to the roof, creak, scuttle, sigh. In the modern world, you might call this the wind or a nesting bird. But here, in the heart of the 14th century, the women around the hearth know better. They look up with a soft, knowing smile. They are whispering of the brownies, the small, shy spirits of the hearth and the granary. Imagine a tiny figure, no taller than a spindle, dressed in a tunic of dried moss and cobwebs, sitting atop the highest oak beam. He has lived in this tavern since the first stone was laid. He drinks the spilled drops of ale and eats the crumbs of barley bread left in the rushes. He is the guardian of the house. As the tavern grows still, feel the presence of these gentle shadows. They are not ghosts to be feared. They are the ancient memory of the land, invited indoors to keep the night safe. Alice whispers a story of the Green Man, whose face is woven from the ivy hanging on the ale stake outside. She tells of how he breathes the river fog into the city to hide the travelers from the prying eyes of the dark. Her voice is a low, hypnotic chant. Green, leaf, mist, hide. The air in the rafters seems to shimmer. Look at the corners of the room where the light cannot reach. Do you see that silver flicker? It is the silk wife, the spirit of the loom. She is a pale, translucent shimmer that moves across the tapestries, mending the invisible tears in the world's fabric while the humans sleep. She carries the scent of white lilies and ancient rain. Listen to the music of the wood. The oak beams themselves carry the spirits of the forest. Sometimes, when the fire is just right, the wood remembers being a tree. It hums a low-frequency song of deep roots and swaying branches. Hum, drone, still. Feel the vibration of this ancient memory in the bench beneath you. It is a grounding energy, telling your soul that you are part of a world that is much older and much kinder than the city streets. There are no monsters here. In Marjorie's tavern, the shadows are protective. The women tell of the hearth mother, a spirit of the fire who lives in the white ash. She is the one who keeps the coals glowing until dawn. She is the one who whispers Swefna, dreams, into the ears of the weary. Close your eyes. Let these stories become a soft, silken veil over your mind. The legends of 1380 are not meant to keep you awake. They are meant to give you company. You are never truly alone in the dark. You are surrounded by 1,000 years of folklore, by the friendly spirits of the barley, the wool, and the oak. The brownie in the rafters is watching over you. The Green Man is guarding the door. The hearth mother is warming your feet. You are being cradled by the mythology of the Middle Ages. The flickering shadows on the wall are not just light and dark. They are the spirits dancing to the lute's final echo. They are the guardians of your rest. Listen to the rhythmic thump of a log settling in the ash. It is the hearth mother shifting in her bed. Take a deep, ethereal breath. Inhale the magic of the soot and the dried meadowsweet. The world of 1380 is a world of wonders, and tonight, the wonder is all around you, soft as a moth's wing, quiet as a falling star. Your mind is drifting now, floating upward into the dark rafters, joining the shy spirits in their midnight vigil. You are light. You are safe. You are part of the story. The night is a vast magical ocean, and you are sinking into its warm, sparkling depths. Spirit, oak, ivy, sleep. Let your mind drift higher still, beyond the heavy oak rafters, into the very spirit of the objects that surround you. In the year 1380, the line between the living and the inanimate is as thin as a single thread of flax. Listen to the heartbeat of the pantry. The women whisper of the grain mother, a shy golden spirit who lives within the sacks of barley and the bins of rye. She is the essence of the summer harvest, a warm, amber light that remains even when the fields are frozen under the winter frost. When you hear the soft shush shush of grain settling in the dark, it is not just the weight of the seeds. It is the grain mother smoothing her skirts, ensuring that there will be enough bread for the morning, enough ale for the weary. She carries the scent of sun-baked straw and dried chamomile. To know she is there is to know that the hunger of the world is kept at bay by a gentle, golden hand. Now, turn your inner gaze to the hearthstone. Deep beneath the white ash and the glowing ruby coals, there lives the Stone Father. He is as old as the hills from which these rocks were hewn. He is the spirit of endurance. When the wind howls against the tavern shutters and the Thames rises in a cold, black fury, the Stone Father holds the house still. He doesn't speak in words, but in weight. Feel that weight now. Let it settle over your limbs like a heavy, warm blanket of granite. You are as stable as the hearth. You are as unyielding as the foundation. The Stone Father is breathing with you, a slow, tectonic rhythm that tells your pulse to calm, your heart to find its ancient, steady pace. Listen to the whispers of the iron hooks in the hearth, the heavy hinges on the door, the fire dogs shaped like hounds. They all have their own metallic soul. In 1380, iron is a sacred metal forged in fire to protect the humans from the unseen cold. The women believe that the iron sings a low magnetic song, a frequency that wards off the shadows of the street. Hum, ring, still. It is a silver sound, hidden inside the black metal. As the tavern grows quiet, the iron sentinels take up their watch. They are the silent guardians who never sleep, so that you may. Look at the thatch spirits in the roof. Among the layers of straw and reed, there are the sky watchers. They are spirits of air and light who have become entangled in the golden stems of the roof. They catch the dreams that try to escape into the night sky and weave them back into the room. When you hear the thatch rustle above your head, it is a sky watcher smoothing a dream for you. It is a soft, fibrous music that tells your mind, the sky is vast, but you are tucked in. The stars are cold, but you are gilded in straw. The folklore of 1380 is a map of safety. Every crack in the wood, every shadow in the corner, every clink of a ceramic mug is part of a grand, benevolent design. The world is not a chaotic place. It is a house filled with friends you cannot see, but whose warmth you can surely feel. Marjorie, the alewife, leaves a small offering on a stone ledge, a tiny thimble of ale and a crust of honeyed bread. It is a gesture of gratitude. It acknowledges that we are guests in the world of the spirits, and they are our hosts in the world of the night. Close your eyes. Let the presence of the Grain Mother, the Stone Father, and the Sky Watchers pull you down into a state of divine stillness. You are being watched over by 1,000 eyes of light. You are being held by 100 hands of oak and iron. The tavern is not just a building. It is a living myth. And tonight, the myth is telling you that you are precious. The myth is telling you that the darkness is a garden, and you are its most cherished flower, closing its petals under the watchful gaze of the moon. Feel the vibration of the night spirit as it settles over the hearth. It is a soft, velvet weight, pressing gently against your eyelids. Grain, stone, iron, dream. You are sinking into the very soul of the Middle Ages, and it is a soul of peace. Close your eyes and let the ethereal whispers of the rafters fade into a solid, rhythmic presence. Now, focus your inner gaze on Marjorie, the alewife. as she stands behind the scarred oak counter. In the year 1380, a woman's power is often hidden, tucked away in the shadows of the great halls. But here, in the amber glow of the tavern, her power is as visible as the fire in the hearth. Look at her hands. They are the hands of a master of elements. They are stained by the dark malt, scented with the bitter yarrow, and toughened by the iron handles of the heavy cauldrons. When she moves, there is a distinct, rhythmic jingle, the sound of a dozen iron keys hanging from her braided silk girdle. Listen to that sound. Chime, clink, still. Those keys unlock the pantry, the grain chests, the cellar where the barrels sleep, and the heavy oak door that keeps the world at bay. She is the guardian of the threshold. In a world where women are often told where to sit and how to speak, Marjorie is the one who decides who enters and who remains. She is a widow, a survivor of the Great Plagues, a woman who has turned a domestic skill into a liquid empire. Feel the authority of the hearth radiating from her. She does not shout. She does not need to. Her power is in the gaze. When she looks across the room, her eyes, the color of dark honey, see everything. She knows who needs another mug of ale to drown a sorrow, and she knows who has had enough. With a single, slow nod, she commands the room's energy, keeping the peace with the quiet weight of her presence. She is the alchemist of survival. Think of the economic soul of this room. The silver pennies and groats that pass across the counter are the fruit of her labor. She manages the accounts in her head, a complex map of debts, credits, and trust. She is a financier in wool and linen, a woman who understands the value of a bushel of barley and the cost of a winter's fire. In the 14th century, the alewife is the pulse of the neighborhood economy. Watch her as she pours a fresh mug for a newcomer. Glug, splash, hiss. The movement is precise, hypnotic, and filled with a tired grace. She is not just serving a drink, she is delivering a social medicine. She knows the secrets of every woman at the trestle table. She knows the fears whispered into the ceramic rims. She is a confessor without a robe, a doctor without a blade. Listen to the rustle of her authority. The heavy wool of her kirtle brushes against the rushes, shuff-shuff, a sound of steady, unyielding movement. She is the anchor. If the city were to fall tomorrow, you feel that Marjorie would still be here, stirring her vat, tending her fire, and holding the night still for those who are weary. She represents a sacred independence. She owes her livelihood to no man's whim. She is a queen of the shadows, her crown made of linen wimple and soot, her throne an ashwood stool. To sit in her tavern is to be under her protection. Feel the security that comes from her strength. It is a heavy peace. It is the knowledge that the world is being managed by a hand that is both firm and kind. You don't have to be strong tonight, because Marjorie is strong for you. As she sits down for a rare moment of rest, leaning her back against a barrel of dark ale, notice how the tavern seems to settle with her. The fire burns more steadily. The shadows become more predictable. You are safe in the kingdom of the alewife. Take a slow, deep breath. Inhale the scent of the malt, the wood smoke, and the quiet power of the woman who brewed them all together. The night is her domain, and she has invited you in. Close your eyes. Let the rhythmic clink of her keys become a silver lullaby. You are under the guardianship of the first entrepreneurs, the women who held the keys to the night. Sink down into the oak. Sink into the peace she has created. Keys, coin, amber, queen. You are resting in the heart of a sovereign night. Close your eyes and let the iron jingle of Marjorie's keys fade into a silver memory. Now, let us feel the time of the Middle Ages. In the year 1380, time does not tick, it does not hurry, it does not scream from a glowing screen. Here, in the amber sanctuary of the Tavern, time is a texture. It is a slow, liquid movement, like honey pouring from a jar in the cold. Look at the tallow dip on your trestle table. It is a slender pillar of rendered beef fat, white and opaque. Watch the flame. It is a tiny golden leaf trembling slightly in the invisible currents of the room. Flicker, sway, still. Time is the melting of the wax. See the small, translucent bead of liquid fat forming at the base of the wick. It grows heavy, shimmering like a tear, before it slowly, very slowly, rolls down the side of the candle. It cools as it moves, turning back into a solid white ripple. That single drop is a minute. That silent movement is the only clock you need. In 1380, you do not manage time. You inhabit it. Listen to the heartbeat of the hearth. The great oak logs have burned down now. They are no longer fierce with orange flames. Instead, they have become glowwood, vast, pulsating cathedrals of deep crimson coal. Hiss, pop, sigh. Every time a pocket of air escapes from the charred wood, it is a marker of the night's depth. The fire is breathing with you. Inhale. The coals brighten to a vivid scarlet. Exhale. They settle into a dusty velvet rose. There is no late here. There is only deep. The night has a weight. Feel it pressing gently against the timber walls of the tavern. It is a soft, dark pressure that tells the world to be still. The women around you have stopped speaking. The whispers have dissolved into a collective silence. This is not an empty silence. It is a full silence. It is the sound of time resting. Listen to the scritch of a mouse in the rushes. Listen to the rhythmic thump of the tavern cat's tail against the floorboards. These tiny sounds do not interrupt the night. They define it. They are the punctuation marks in a long, dark poem of peace. You are no longer counting the hours. You are sinking into the grain of the oak. The wood beneath your hand has existed for 100 years before you, and it will exist for 100 years after. In the presence of the oak, your day's worries are as fleeting as a spark from the fire. Time in 1380 is circular. It is the circle of the seasons. It is the circle of the brewing vat. It is the circle of the women sitting around the hearth. You are part of a loop that has no beginning and no end. Feel your own internal pulse. It is slowed down to match the melting of the candle. Your blood moves with the heavy, warm dignity of the ale. Your thoughts are no longer sharp. They are soft, blurred shapes like the shadows on the lime-washed wall. The candle is shorter now. The wick curls into a black spiral, glowing red at the tip. The light is pulling inward, closer to the table, leaving more of the room to the kind, velvety darkness. The rafters have disappeared. The corners have vanished. There is only you, the flickering gold of the tallow, and the slow, rhythmic breathing of the night. You are drifting on a dark river of time. The Thames outside is flowing toward the sea, but here the river is still. You are anchored in the amber now. You are preserved in the soot and the wax. Everything is becoming one. The heat, the ale, the shadow, the silence. Close your eyes. Let the last of the candle's pulse guide you toward the shore of sleep. The time of the world is over. The time of the dream is beginning. Wax, ember, shadow, slow. Close your eyes and let the rhythmic pulse of the medieval clock, the melting wax, reach its final liquid conclusion. In the year 1380, the night does not end with a switch. It ends with a sigh. Look at the tallow dip on the oak trestle. It is now a shallow pool of translucent oil, barely holding the wick upright. The flame is small, a tiny blue and gold spirit dancing on the edge of the dark. Flicker, dip, swell. It is a fragile thing, yet it holds the entire room in its warm, fragile embrace. The light is pulling back, retreating from the corners, abandoning the rafters to the velvety soot. One by one, the other candles in the tavern have succumbed to the night. Listen to the death of a flame. Sputter, hiss, silence. A tiny silver thread of white smoke rises from a blackened wick across the room. It carries the scent of the hearth, the smell of rendered fat, honey, and a hint of the high summer meadows. Inhale that scent. It is the perfume of a contented ending. The shadows are moving in, closer and closer. They are not cold. They are a heavy, dark silk that drapes over your shoulders, tucking you into the oak. The women around you are beginning their soft retreat. There is no loud talking now. Only the soft rustle of wool as a cloak is pulled tight. The muted scuff of a shoe in the green rushes. The quiet clink of a ceramic mug being set down for the final time. Look at the great hearth. The fire is no longer a roar. It is a muffled heart. The white ash has piled up, a soft, silent snow of wood and peat, burying the last of the glowing rubies. Every few moments, a coal collapses, tinkle, sigh, settling into the gray dust with a sound like a falling star. The alewife, Marjorie, moves through the amber dimness. She doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. She places a heavy wooden lid over the last barrel of ale. Thud. Echo. Still. The liquid is put to bed. The nourishment is sealed away. She approaches your table. With a slow, graceful breath, she leans toward your candle. Whoosh. The flame vanishes. For a heartbeat, there is only the afterglow, a tiny red spark on the tip of the wick that lingers in the dark like a lonely eye. Then, even that fades. The room is now true dark, but it is a dark that is full of warmth. It is a dark that smells of shared secrets, roasted barley, and the lingering heat of 20 lives. Feel the stillness of 1380. Outside, the London fog has turned into a heavy silver blanket, muffling the sound of the Thames. The city is a stone ghost. But here, inside the timber walls, you are held in a cradle of shadows. You are no longer a person with a name. You are a part of the darkness. You are a part of the oak. Your head is heavy. Your limbs are made of lead and warm wool. The transition is complete. The night has won, and the victory is beautiful. There is a sense of lingering peace. The tavern has done its work. It has fed you, warmed you, and hidden you from the world. Now it grants you the final gift, the permission to disappear. The shadows are whispering a final good night, not in words, but in the way the air feels against your cheek. Breathe in the smoke of the extinguished candle. Breathe out the last of your waking thoughts. The world of the 14th century is folding its wings. The world of dreams is opening its gates. Smoke, ash, shadow, gone. Close your eyes. Truly, deeply close them. The last spark of the tallow dip has long since vanished, leaving only the afterglow of the heart. In the year 1380, the night is not an absence of light. It is a presence of peace. Feel the weight of the oak. The tavern is now a dark, timbered womb. The heavy beams above you, darkened by a century of wood smoke, seem to settle closer, a protective rib cage of heart oak holding the night still. The air is cool now, but your body is a reservoir of heat. The wool of your cloak, the linen of your smock, the warmth of the ale, the savory strength of the pottage. All these things have become a single glowing coal inside your chest. Listen to the breath of the house. 20 women resting in the amber-scented dark. The individual breaths have merged into a single oceanic rhythm. Inhale, the tavern expands. Exhale, the city of London sighs. There is no more talk. There is no more thought. There is only the great stillness. Marjorie, the alewife, has found her own corner by the dying hearth. The iron poker is leaned against the stone. The work of the night is finished. Feel your limbs sinking into the rushes and the straw. Below the green meadowsweet, the floor is solid, ancient earth. You are anchored to the very foundation of the world. Your arms are heavy, like the roots of the willow. Your legs are long and still, like the stones of the city wall. The Thames outside is a dark, silent river of glass. The watchman has moved to the far gates of the city, his voice now a memory in the fog. You are safe. You are hidden. You are forgotten by the world of the day. Look at the hearth rubies. Through your closed eyelids, you can still feel the faint, deep red pulse of the dying embers. They are the last flickers of reality. Glow, fade, glow. They are telling your heart to beat with the same slow, smoldering dignity. In the year 1380, sleep is a sacred country. There are no dreams of taxes or looms or kings. There are only dreams of gold and gray, the gold of the barley, the gray of the river mist. You are drifting into the Swefen, the ancient sleep of your ancestors. The scent of the night, the dried lavender, the peat smoke, the cooling wax, is a soft, silken blindfold over your mind. The tavern cat has stopped its purr, curled into a tight, furry ball of total silence. The fire has finally turned to white ash, a soft, silent dust that covers the history of the evening. Everything is still. Everything is dark. Everything is safe. You are falling. Not a fast fall, but a slow, floating descent into the velvet deep of the 14th century. The oak is holding you. The night is kissing you. The sleep is claiming you. Listen to the very last sound of the night. A single, tiny clink of a cooling hearthstone. Then, nothing. Only the darkness. Only the warmth. Only the dream. Farewell, London. Farewell, 1380. Sleep. Sleep. Iale. Slepton.